Hi guys, it's Joanne here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut and sew this beautiful wrap top you're seeing here. So if you're interested in something like this, kindly stick around, watch this video to the end. Don't forget to like and share this video, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on your post notification bell for more videos. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into the tutorial. For this tutorial, I'm going to be making use of this African print, and this is about 2 yards. So 2 yards is going to be actually more than enough for what I am about to make. So let's get to the drafting part. So guys, I have already folded this fabric into two right sides facing each other, and from the folded part here, I am going to be beginning the measurements going towards the side. Okay, so I'm going to start taking the necessary measurement, but first I'm going to be indicating the start point line. All right, so this point I just marked here is the start point line, also known as the shoulder line. I am now going to take my ruler to connect this into a straight line. All right, so whatever measurement I'm going to be taking would be from this line I just drew. Okay, so notice that this is also the shoulder line. So from where I placed my tape from the shoulder line, I'm going to be marking the chest line. Okay, so the chest line of this measurement is 8 inches. I'm going to simply take my ruler and also rule this into a straight line. So after getting that line there, I have the shoulder line, the chest line, and this last part here is going to be the length of the top. Okay, this part is going to be the length of the top. So I am going to measure the length of the top plus the allowance I added, okay, to the length, which is half of an inch allowance. I added half of an inch allowance to the length, okay, so making it a total of 16.5 inches. The actual length of the top is 16 inches plus half inch allowance, making it 16.5. Hope you're clear. So next measurement I'm going to be taking will be the shoulder measurement. So divide your shoulder by 2. Whatever you have, you're going to be imputing on the shoulder line. Okay, so from that point I marked there, I'm going to come down by half inch for the shoulder slope. Then on this shoulder line here, I'm imputing the neck width, which is 3 inches. Then on the chest line, I'm going to be marking the shoulder measurement by 2, and whatever I have, I imputed that on the chest line, and I'm simply going to connect this point to the shoulder slope into a straight line. I'm connecting the shoulder slope back to the neck width. Okay, so as you can see, I've gotten the armhole line and the neck width. Next thing I'm going to be doing would be to come down here to take 1 inch for the neck depth. All right, please note that what I am drafting here now is the back bodice. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do will be to come to the chest line, take the bust measurement, divide by 4. Okay, take your bust circumference, divide by 4. Then whatever you have, you're going to be imputing. So for me, I added 1 inch allowance to that measurement. That will be for the sewing allowance. Okay, then on the waistline, I'm going to be taking the entire waist measurement, waist circumference, divide that measurement by 4. Then whatever you have, you're going to be imputing. Please note that I'm not going to be adding that to this top. Okay, so I went ahead and imputed that the actual waist measurement divided by 4, and I added 1 inch of that to the waistline as well. All right, so after doing this, I'll come here to this armhole here. I am going to be taking the midpoint of the armhole and imputing this here. I'm going to come in here by half of an inch from the midpoints, and I'm going to connect to the tip of the shoulder, which I already did. And from there, I'm taking a curve here to curve the armhole to meet to the chest line, as you can see. Okay, so I have gotten my armhole right now. So next thing I'll do will be to cut this out. Please, when you're cutting this out, please make sure you add your extra half of an inch allowance on the shoulder area, like I just did here. So guys, this is what I have after cutting this out. Okay, so I'm going to now place this back block to the front part here. So I have cut out the front part already. Then I'm going to place the back block on this front part. Okay, so watch the way I'm going to be placing the back block on the front part. So for the front part, you notice that I extended that measurement. Okay, so I extended the measurement on the front block, okay, more than what I have on the back block. So notice how I'm placing the back block on the front part. So this is the folded part here. So whatever measurement I'm going to be taking from the front block will be from the folded part of the back block. I hope you understand. So from where I made the extension, that's where I'm going to be increasing the measurement on the front block. You know, this is actually going to be a wrap. Okay, and also notice where the armhole of the back part is. So I'm sorry guys, the pattern is actually covering the where the armhole and the neckline is. So from this midpoint of the back block, from this part here, extend that measurement by 7 inches. Okay, so that is actually the wrap measurement, wrap extension. So I'm going to also do the same thing on this part here to enable me just get a straight line, okay, on this other area. So now after doing that, whatever measurement would be from, again, will be from this back center, okay, from the center back towards this part I just chalked on the front block. So on the neckline, you're going to be minusing 1 inch, okay, from the back neck measurement. Then place your tape from the 1 inch and come down by, so what I came down by was 6 inches, because my client doesn't actually want her cleavage to show. So it depends what you actually want. So for you, if you like, you can go as far as 7 or 8 inches or even 9 inches. It depends on how you want it. Then on this down part here, I'm going to be extending that measurement by, from the hemline, by about 2.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be making a connection from the neck width, from the neckline, okay, where I just chalked here. From the neckline, I'm going to be making a connection to the hemline on the front block. So please watch what I'm doing here. What I did was that I folded in the neckline of the back block. So I'm sorry guys, this pattern is actually covering where the back block is. So sorry about that guys. I thought this is not really going to I thought this is actually going to be visible enough. So watch how I am connecting this with my chalk. So from the neck width of the back block, please make a mark there, on also on the front block, okay, to serve as a guide for you, because at the end of the day you want both your shoulder, the shoulder back and the shoulder front to align. So please ensure you mark exactly on where you have your back neck width. Okay, then I'm going to be cutting this part out, and also I'm going to be cutting this part like this to the down part, and this shoulder line here, and the armhole, and of course I'm going to be cutting the side as well. So I'm going to take my scissors now. Please watch how I am cutting this part. So I did not necessarily forward this part because I wanted you guys to see how I cut this part. So this is the shoulder part here, the shoulder area I just cut out. So as you can see, it is now clear what I did there. Okay, so it is now very clear now. So yeah, this is it guys. So this is very easy to make. There's nothing to it. As you can see, we've already gotten the front part and the back part. I'm going to take the back part out now, and I'm going to be using, let me cross this over for you guys to see. So this is what it is. There is nothing difficult here. It's just about 30 minutes and you're done making this top, trust me. So I'm going to cut the lining piece for all these, but if you don't want to add the lining to your own, you can easily fold this up. Okay, fold the neckline, join the shoulder and the back shoulder to the front shoulder, and just follow the necessary step I'm going to be taking. So for me, I cut out the lining for both the front and the back, and this is how I cut it out. I cut the lining two, you know, the front part I have two, so also the lining I cut 2 pieces, and for the back I cut just one, the way it is. I folded the center back. So yeah, I'm going to start joining this these pieces up, I'm going to be joining them. So I'm going to join the lining to the lining and the fashion fabric to the fashion fabric. So I'm going to start by joining the shoulder area. Okay, I'm going to be joining the back shoulder to the front shoulder. So simply place the right sides of the back parts and the right side of the front side facing each other, and you're going to be joining the shoulder by half of an inch. Okay, so I'm simply pinning this down now. I'm going to be joining this by half of an inch. I'll do the same thing for this other part of the shoulder. Pin this down and join by half of an inch. After doing that, I am going to also join the side by 1 inch. You know, the allowance I added was 1 inch. So if the allowance you added is 1 inch, okay, if you add the allowance you add is 1 inch, please make sure you sew on 1 inch. Okay, so whatever allowance you added while drafting, please ensure you also sew on the same allowance. Okay, so I'm just using my pin to secure, and I'll take to my machine and sew here also by 1 inch. I'll do the same thing for the lining piece as well. I'm going to be joining the lining piece exactly the same way I did for the the fashion fabric. So I'm going to be placing the lining like this. I'm going to be sewing the shoulder up here by half of an inch. Also do the same thing on this part of the shoulder by half inch. Then on the side here, I am also going to be sewing by 1 inch. For one side I'll sew 1 inch, for the other side I'll also sew 1 inch. So after sewing this up, I'm going to open up the seams on the shoulder and on the side, and I'm going to iron properly. So I am done sewing this up, and I have already opened the seam. As you can see here, it's looking very neat and clean. Also the shoulder area, I opened up the seam and I pressed it very well. I did the same thing for the lining piece. I opened up the seams and I also ironed properly. So I'm going to also sew the neckline. So to do that, I'm simply going to be flipping this over like I just did here. So the right side of the fashion fabric is actually facing me, and also the right side of the main line, the lining, will be facing the right side of the fashion fabric. So I'm going to be turning up the neck. So the rule is that when you're turning, let the right sides face each other. You're going to be sewing on the wrong side. So I'm simply matching the shoulder line area like this. Okay, making sure that the seams are aligned, and I'm going to be using my pin to secure the neckline. Okay, so use your pin, secure the neckline. All right, so please, if you don't want to pass through the stress of turning it up with lining, please, you can as well, just after sewing the shoulder area and the side, you can decide to, just fold the neckline, or you simply use a bias strip to run the neckline just to make it neat. But I felt like adding lining to this particular one here. So for this part also, I'm going to be ensuring that the shoulders align. Okay, I'm going to just make sure that the shoulders align, and make sure the shoulder align, and use your pin to secure it. Okay, secure it. So I add a bit of excess lining on the neckline. So you know that's why you should be sure that the shoulders align. So whatever excess you have on the lining should go to the center of the neckline. Hope you understand. So I'm also securing this part here with my pins. So after doing this, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to be running the neckline. Okay, I'm going to be running a stitch on the neckline like half of an inch. Okay, run a stitch on the neckline, sew this up by half of an inch from this part here. Let me show you guys. From this down part here, sew by half of an inch all the way to all around here, to down to this other hem, to this other part here. When you get there, stop, make a top stitch and end there. Okay, don't sew this part, don't sew that part, so just stop here. And after that, we are going to be sewing the hemline. But I realized that I had to just open up this part. After sewing the neckline, I had to just open it up and give it a very beautiful press. Then I'll show you guys what I did. So after sewing, this is exactly what I came up with. So yeah, I stitched this neckline. I went ahead to notch around the neckline. After stitching, I notch around the neckline and I iron it beautifully, and it's laid very well. So also the same method you used while you were pinning, matching the lining to the neckline, also do the same thing on the hemline. Ensure that the seams are aligned. Okay, so simply place this with on use your pin to secure this up. Okay, use your pin to secure this. I advise you make use of your pins. All right, so yeah, going to also do the same thing for this part. Secure this up with my pin. Then also I'm going to ensure this seam also align, the lining seam and the main fabric seam where I have that joining. Okay, that is what I mean by the seam aligning. So make sure it aligns. So when it does, use your pin to secure it. Also secure these other parts. All right, basically secure around the waistline. Secure you with your pins around the waistline. This is to enable you, have a neat sewing. Like you don't have to struggle with sewing it. I hope you understand. Okay, so I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm also going to run a stitch by using 1/2 inch. Once I'm through securing this with my pin, I'm going to take to the sewing machine and I'm going to be running a stitch. I'm going to be running a stitch by using 1/2 inch. Please don't sew this part. Alright, we are going to be attaching the belt later on. So after that, I'm going to show you guys what I came up with. After sewing that part, this is what I came up with, and this is looking very beautiful already. Now I'm going to show you guys how I cut out these belts here. So I used a length of 45 inches. I cut out the belts with the total length of 45 inches. You can make yours more, and the width was 2.5 inches on fold. So after sewing this up, you end up with 2 inches, okay, on fold. As you can see here, I'm going to be attaching these belts here. So for one part, I closed up one side of the belt, and for this other side I did not close up. This is the area, the part I'm going to be fixing into this hole here to close this up. Okay, so you don't need to actually close that part of the belt up. Okay, so only close the part that is going to be outside. I hope you understand. So simply fix this like this as I'm doing. Then from the armhole, you're going to be turning this over like this and arrange it properly, and add, when you're done arranging it, just use your pin and secure it. Then take to your sewing machine and stitch by just 1/2 inch. All right, so do the way I'm doing this. I'm making sure to arrange this properly to ensure that it is laid properly, like the belt is well laid. Okay, so I'm going to take to my sewing machine and I'm going to be sewing this up by 1/2 inch. Okay, so sew that part up by 1/2 inch. With that, you've already fixed your belt. Once I'm through with that, I'm going to also pin this up. Okay, after doing that, everything was aligned. I'm going to pin this so by 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing also for this part. So see the way I'm fixing this part. If you did not see the way I fixed the other part, so the opened area of the belt part is what I'm going to be fixing here. So I'm simply going to put it from the right side, then bring it out from the wrong side, as you can see, and I'm going to make sure to align it very well, like it should lay properly. Okay, like arrange it that it doesn't fold. After sewing it, it doesn't come out folding. Okay, so arrange it properly, then take your pin and pin this down, sew by 1/2 inch. So after that, you're going to have something very neat. Okay, so I'm through with stitching the belts, and yeah, this is basically it, and this is looking very beautiful, guys. So next thing I'm going to do would be to actually cut the sleeve. So I'm going to cut the sleeve with my free hand. All right, so if you're having difficulty cutting your sleeve, please let me know in the comment section. Let me put you guys through. So I've cut out the sleeve, the fabric I'm going to be using for my sleeve, and I place the both fabric like this. So I have the two sleeves here. Okay, so from this part here, I'm going to simply take the length of the sleeve. It's going to be a long sleeve, so I'm taking the length of 23 inches, sorry guys. So from from this part here that is not folded, please take note, I came down for the curve by 3.5 inches. Okay, so I'm simply going to connect this from the folded part here. I'm going to connect it back to this point. So yeah, but I'm using a free hand. Okay, so I marked the sleeve measurement, and I added 1 inch allowance. So I'm marking the elbow now, and I'm going to also take the elbow circumference. I'm going to be imputing that measurement there and add 1 inch allowance. Then on this part here, okay, I'm going to the full length of the sleeve. I am going to also take this measurement of this circumference here, divide that measurement by 2, and I'm going to be adding 1 inch allowance. So like I said, if you have difficulty cutting your sleeve, let me know in the comment section so I can make a video of that and post. So guys, yeah, I'm going to simply connect this allowance, this point I make here. Okay, then connect these other points. So yeah, and then once I'm done with that, I'm going to take my sewing machine and I'm going to be closing up the allowance area. Okay, I'm going to be closing up the allowance area to get the sleeve. All right, so yeah, so I'm going to cut this up here, fold this hemline and cut. Okay, I'm going to cut this part here, cut out the excess fabric here. I'm going to cut out this part here, and the sleeve is ready. I'm now going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to be running a stitch on this hem part here. Okay, on the allowance I added, I'm going to fold this back like this. I'm going to also close this part up. I'll do the same thing for the other part, fix it up off camera and show you guys. So I have run a stitch on the sleeve and I've stitched this on the armhole. So this is what I have. This is looking pretty and beautiful. Guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for sticking around. Please comment, let me know what you think about this video. See you guys in my next one.